Okay, we're moving on to communication. Good communication. We'll do some theory on communication first. What communication is all about? Communication systems. So we have the source. That's in the sender's brain. They create a message, whatever language they're using. They send that message face to face, telephone, video conference, and so forth. The person hearing it decodes it, and then it gets into their brain. Now, you don't know if this will be the same as this. That's the trouble. So the feedback loop is important so that communication is clear and understood. Okay. It's sharing information, thoughts, ideas, emotions, etc. Engineers, knowledge, skills, attitudes to make a positive impact. It's in our Felix and the cat, his bag of tricks. So communication is an important skill. So it has to do with relationships, and so clear communication, clear agreement is important. So we have principles of encoding and decoding, um, learning the skills, how to communicate well, verbally and written, and graphically. Your engineering graphics, by the way, that's graphical communication. It's very precise, as you probably noticed going through the engineering graphics book and our lessons, that there's very specific rules. And the reason for those rules is to make graphical communication absolutely clear. So you don't have a lot of different people doing things a lot of different way, and somebody's looking at a drawing and they're scratching their head. What does this mean? What does that mean? They don't know. So we want to make that communication very clear. Okay. My mouse is giving me troubles. Okay. Model of communication. We've already been through that. Concept to understanding. Sender to receiver. So what the sender is responsible for is this much. What the receiver is responsible for is this much. They only share this. Then comes the interpretation. It could be different than what the sender wanted to say. Easily different. This stuff isn't hidden from the receiver, and this stuff is hidden from the sender. Okay. So, sometimes there are things that happen at work or whatever that putting something together, you get something from IKEA, you got to put it together, and what are the instructions telling me? Frustrations. Think of products that maybe evoked happiness, anger, whatever. And here's a YouTube video you can take a look at. I'll let you look at it separate. Remember the VCR scene in City Slickers? Check the video out. It's funny, but it also shows kind of the frustration people had with those old style VCRs. Examples of communication: commuter, telephone, smoke signals, telegraph, channels. So these are ways that you can send a message. Spoken words, written words, context, picture drawings, emotion gestures. Integrate all your signal channels. Don't put too much emphasis on one channel. It's confusing as the receiver attempts to decode and understand. This one's another great video where the Singing in the Rain, where they're doing talkie films and or silent films, and the Gene Hagen got Debbie Reynolds fired from her job, and Gene Kelly was mad about it. And he goes into the scene, and it's a love scene. He's in love with Gene, and he goes up to her and says, "Why, you dirty snake," smiling all the time. So in silent films, it looks like it's a love scene, but his words are something completely different. And it's just a funny way to illustrate that channels might not match. You try to make them match, and the receiver tries to integrate all the messages from all the channels. Presentations. So your objective in a presentation, is it to persuade somebody to action or to inform them? Your design reviews are primarily informational, and they are part of project management to let me know, and of course in the future let your boss know that you're on track, you're doing everything the way it should be done. Consider your audience, value, needs, constraints, knowledge level, what works, what doesn't. Organize your thoughts. So this is the brainstorming. So it's a lot like project planning. Subpoints, benefits, beginning, middle, and end. Handouts to summarize and support and reinforce. Visual aids. Don't use visual aids to impress or to avoid a point or to make more than one point. 75% of what we know comes to us visually, which is why charts and graphs are better than tables. Keep it simple, use the keywords, talk to the audience, and you're the center. Main idea, tell them what you're going to say, then tell them what you said. Introduction, background of the project, introduce yourself. I think I skipped something. You have a main body between the introduction and get real, you silly machine. Okay. Develop the conclusion. Return to the introduction. A call to action. What, how, and when. So at the conclusion, even when you're wrapping up your project, you can talk about things that you could have done differently or better. Introduction is the head of your presentation. Conclusion is the tail. People-centered, not media graphs, charts, and PowerPoints. You want to talk to the audience. You want interaction and rapport. Don't omit these things. Just realize they're not central. And of course, here's a neat little cartoon illustrating that. Thanks, Doc. I feel like you really understand me. So the doctor is wearing one of those hospital gowns that are open on the back, so he's showing empathy. Delivery. So you have the introduction, preview, what you're going to say it, main idea and sub ideas. Why, what, when, and how. Results and benefits if you're trying to persuade. Review what you said, then conclusion. And that, did it work? And what could be improved? Posture. So the different stances people have. Just try to be relaxed and informal, and you probably don't want to come across like these people. Maybe the open guy is what you want, but you want that connection. Good posture, movement, eye gestures, eye contact, voice. Use your voice for inflection and emphasis. There might be multiple messages, and of course this is coding. Morse code, the old dots and dashes, which we don't use anymore, but it kind of illustrates how people, one of the channels of communication, and all of these are channels of communication, encoding and decoding. So there might be multiple messages. I'm going to go ahead and end this video here and pick up this portion with the next video.